I never planned to go hiking that weekend. My friends bailed last minute, and I just needed to clear my head. So I packed a bag, filled my thermos with coffee, and drove out to the woods alone. It was supposed to be peaceful, just me, the pines, and silence. The trail I chose wasn't on most maps, a narrow, winding path that curved between tall trees blanketed in pine needles. I'd read about it once on a forum, for experienced hikers only. That should have been my first warning. By the time I realized I was lost, the sun was already dipping below the treetops. My phone had no signal, the map was useless. Every direction looked the same: trees, moss, shadows. I didn't panic at first. I figured I'd retrace my steps, maybe find the main trail again. But after an hour of wandering, I had to admit I was in trouble. That's when I saw it, a cabin, half hidden between the trees, like it had grown out of the forest itself. It didn't look abandoned exactly. The wood was aged but intact, the windows dusty but not broken. A small chimney rose from the roof, though there was no smoke. I hesitated. Who builds a cabin way out here? No path led to it, no sign of life, but it was getting dark and cold. I knocked once. No answer. Twice. Still nothing. I tried the door. It creaked open. Inside, the air was stale, like the place hadn't been touched in years, but it wasn't empty. There was a table with 2 chairs, a stone fireplace with logs stacked neatly beside it, a bed with a dusty quilt. The strangest thing? A kettle sat on the stove, like someone had just been about to make tea. I called out, "Hello?" No response. My skin crawled, but staying outside all night wasn't an option. I told myself someone probably used this place occasionally, maybe a hunter or an old recluse. I left the door open, just in case, and set my backpack down. I didn't plan to sleep, just rest, warm up, but exhaustion hit hard. I sat on the edge of the bed, and the next thing I remember, I was waking up. It was pitch black. I checked my phone, 3:14 a.m. The door was closed. I was sure I'd left it open, and then I heard footsteps, not from outside, from inside the cabin, soft, deliberate, pacing. I held my breath. The sound stopped. I slowly reached for my flashlight, turned it on, nothing, just the room, empty as before. I stood up. The floorboard under my feet groaned loudly, and then someone knocked on the window. But I was in the middle of the woods. There shouldn't have been anyone for miles. I spun toward the sound. Nothing was there, just a smudge on the glass, a handprint, and it wasn't mine. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. Every time I closed my eyes, I imagined that handprint getting larger, or worse, the face that might have left it. At first light, I grabbed my things and left. Didn't bother with breakfast. Didn't even check outside the cabin. I just walked, no plan, no direction, just away. But the forest wouldn't let me go. Every turn led to more trees. No landmarks, no sounds but my own breathing and the crunch of dead leaves. By midday, I circled back. To the cabin. It didn't make sense. I hadn't turned around. I was walking straight. I knew I was. And yet there it was, same smudge on the glass, same stillness. I screamed, kicked a tree, threw my bottle into the woods. But I couldn't deny it. I was stuck. Eventually I gave in, went back inside. The handprint was gone. I checked the windows, the doors. Still no signs of anyone. But now something else had changed. There was a note on the table, just 3 words. Stay inside tonight. No handwriting, just block letters, printed. No explanation. I should have left again, run in any direction. But something about that message. I stayed. That night I locked the door, closed every window, blocked the chimney with an old iron plate, and I sat, flashlight in one hand, knife from my pack in the other. For hours, nothing. Then, tapping. At the back wall, 3 taps, slow, measured. I froze. Then the front window. Tap, tap, tap. I didn't move. Then from the roof. Scratching. Something dragging across the shingles. I shut off my flashlight, held my breath. Whatever it was, it wanted in. It circled the cabin all night. I could hear it breathing sometimes. Not human. Too wet. Too deep. Like something trying to remember how lungs worked. By morning it was gone. And on the door, etched into the wood, was a single word. Why? The knock came again, under my feet. 3 slow bangs, like fists against wood. I stared at the floorboards, heart pounding. Then silence. I dropped to my knees and listened. A breath. Long. Shaky. Human. There was someone under the cabin. I grabbed the key and felt around the corners. Eventually, near the back wall, I found a small trapdoor. Almost invisible, tucked behind an old crate. Locked. But the rusted key fit. I hesitated, then opened it. A ladder led down into blackness. I took my flashlight, knife in my other hand, and climbed. The air was colder, wetter. It smelled of earth and something foul. At the bottom, a narrow dirt tunnel stretched out ahead. I moved slowly, the beam of light shaking, and there, at the end, a figure. Curled up. Thin, hair covering its face. It was a girl, maybe 20, wearing a torn hospital gown. Her arms were wrapped around her knees. She didn't flinch when I approached. I whispered, "Are you okay?" She looked up, eyes sunken, skin pale like paper. Then she whispered, "He's coming." I asked, "Who?" But she just started rocking, repeating the same thing. "He's coming, he's coming, he's coming." Then, a sound behind me. Scraping. Heavy steps. I turned. The tunnel was empty, but I felt it. Something was there. I grabbed her arm and pulled. She wouldn't move. I begged, "Please, we have to go." But she shook her head. "If you leave, he follows. If you stay, he waits." I let go, ran, climbed up the ladder and slammed the hatch shut. I pushed the crate over it, heart thudding like a drum. For hours I sat against the wall. And then I saw the mirror across the room. There was a face in it, but not mine. The face in the mirror wasn't mine. It stared back, blank eyes, stretched mouth, skin hanging too loose. Like a corpse trying to smile. And then it moved. The reflection moved, but I hadn't. It raised a hand, pointed, to the floor, back to the trapdoor. I turned. The crate had shifted. Something had pushed it from underneath. There were scratches on the wood now, not from fingernails, from claws. I wanted to run, to break a window, smash the door, just go. But something kept me there. Some force, a pull, deep in my chest. I sat in the chair by the fireplace, too tired to think. And then I noticed the fire had gone out hours ago, but it was warm. Like someone was breathing from inside the chimney. I leaned forward, then I heard it. A voice, low, hollow, "Stay with us." I stumbled back. The voice came again, this time from the floor, "Stay," and from the walls, "Stay." I screamed, "I'm not staying. I don't belong here." And the voices whispered in unison, "You do now." I blacked out. Woke up the next morning on the floor. The cabin was clean. No messages, no scratches, no trapdoor. The mirror was broken, my backpack was gone, and on the table, a plate of food. Warm, waiting, like someone was taking care of me. I should have left then, but I was too weak, and maybe part of me already knew it was too late. I stopped trying to leave after a while. The forest never changed. Every path looped back. Sometimes I'd scream into the trees. Other times I'd whisper for help, but the forest stayed silent. The food appeared every morning. Simple stuff, bread, soup, tea, always fresh. Sometimes I'd hear footsteps at night, not in the cabin, above it, like someone walking on the roof. Once, I tried to set the place on fire. The matches wouldn't light. The gas wouldn't spark. The logs stayed damp, no matter how long I left them by the hearth. One night, I saw her again, the girl from the tunnel. She stood outside the window, not moving, not blinking, just staring. I opened the door and shouted, "Let me go." She tilted her head and said, "He chose you." I slammed the door, but the mirror, somehow whole again, now showed her inside the cabin, sitting in my chair, smiling. I screamed, punched the glass. It cracked and bled. I bled. It was real. Then I heard the breathing again, not just from the chimney, from the walls, the floor, the air itself. The whole cabin was alive, and I was inside its mouth. Now, I don't fight it. I wake, eat, sit. Sometimes I talk aloud, not sure if I'm talking to myself or to it.